What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel, and today on our channel we are doing another positional breakdown to help you guys out, but probably the most important one that you're going to see on this channel all year long. And the reason for that is that games of football, and especially in Madden, are won in the trenches, and they're won based on whether you can block your opponent well enough or shed their blocks defensively. And that matters a whole heck of a lot. And I want to show you guys how to have an effective offensive line without needing to have 90 overall players to actually block. And what you'll see, if you guys have watched any of my Chargers franchise, you know that I'm doing fantastic in this franchise. As you guys can see, my record, I'm sitting at 6-0. I have had no problems whatsoever in the passing game. I have 1,800 yards. I lead the league in passing yardage and touchdowns. I was leading the league in rushing yards with Austin Eckler until Melvin Gordon came back. So as a team, we're just doing absolutely phenomenal. And you guys just saw my offensive line. They don't need to be high overalls. I only have one player above an 80. Most of these guys are old and getting in position to retire, but I have a 77, 75, 83, 77, and 77. And actually, prior to last week, I did not have Donald Penn. Donald Penn got cut from the team that he was on, and I had a 68 starting at right guard to much avail. I mean, he was very effective, and all of these offensive linemen were very effective. Now, I'm going to get into the stats in a moment, but the first thing that I want to tell you guys is that you need to focus on your backups as well. And everybody overlooks this, and everybody, tells me I'm wrong, or tells me, oh, you don't need to worry about backups, don't invest money in your backups or whatever. That's just simply not true, because the more effective your backups are, the more effective your O-line is going to be as a whole, because they're going to get tired. They're the biggest guys on the field. They're going to get tired before anybody else does, and you're going to want to be able to give them a break with somebody that you can trust. And so in terms of backup offensive linemen, I don't have anybody that's a high overall. I have, low 60s and one high 60 overall player here. But I choose people that are specifically effective for their position and what they're going to be doing. And then on top of that, you have to go into the My Coach place here and go into auto subs and make sure you turn off your auto subs for your offensive line. It'll come in at 80 and 60. I have it at a base of 80 and 70. Put it up higher if you have better backup offensive linemen. This is really important because you're going to want them to sub out when they're tired. Otherwise, like I've said in other videos, your players become completely ineffective. They won't block anybody. They won't move. They won't do anything for you if you let them get tired and stay on the field. And that is why people have a lot of trouble. That's the first and most important thing. Now, the second most important thing that you need to know is the stats that matter at each position. Center is a very simple position. Center is a pure power position, and the reason being is that there are very few nose tackles in the league that are going to be able to effectively pass rush you. It's not very often that they're going to get a ton of pressure up the middle. It's just not going to happen. More often than not this year in Madden, and in any year in Madden, you're going to see the pressure come from the edges, from the left tackle and the right tackle spot, and that just is how it is. So you need to gear your center towards being a very strong and powerful run blocker in order to move those big guys that are defensive tackles off the ball. They're going to be facing the biggest, strongest guys on the defensive line, and therefore your center needs to be really strong. And what I mean by really strong is that I'm talking like 87, 88 or better strength. And now that's not going to be the case in all scenarios, but as you can see with Mike Pouncey, he is super effective for me run blocking wise because he has 88 strength, and his backup is going to be a guy that has decent strength as well. So Benchwell, or however you say his name here, has 86 strength. He doesn't have good blocking stats, but that strength is going to be enough to get him a little bit of a push on that person up front. And truth be told, the blocking stats don't matter a whole lot for your center, and here's the reason why. They don't have to do a whole lot other than push their guy that's right in front of them straight forward. That's all they have to do on 90% of the plays, on 90% of running plays, and on pass plays, they're just standing there defending a guy straight up. And so the pass blocking and run blocking stats aren't super important for the center position. However, strength is the most important stat for this position. Now, the other things that are important for this position, you could factor in lead block and impact block. And what you'll see from Mike Pouncey is that those are his two highest stats, are his lead block and impact block. And what that means is that when he is running, whatever he is blocking for the run, he's going to be really effective when he's hitting into people. Whenever he's first initiating contact, he's going to get a big push because he's got that good lead block and impact block grade. Now, he might not hold his blocks for the longest amount of time ever, but that's not necessarily the most crucial thing, because when you're running behind the center, you're going to be on top of his back in a split second, and he's not going to have to hold his block for a super long amount of time. Now, don't get me wrong, as those stats progress, they're going to run block better, but you don't need an amazing center to be able to do what I do with this team. All you need is a very strong player that is capable of pushing a good defensive tackle off the ball. It is all based on strength. Now, when you move to the guard positions, the left and right guard positions, these positions are reflective of each other. They're exactly the same. These are the players that you're going to want to be agile and mobile. Now, you also want them to be strong. So for these positions, they're also going to make a lot of contact with the defensive tackles. So I recommend 85 strength or better at left guard and right guard. However, you're going to want to focus more on the stats, or at least put a little bit more emphasis on the speed, agility, and acceleration ratings. See, as you can see, Forrest Lamp has 72 speed, 84 acceleration, and 70 agility. And what that's going to impact is their ability to pull out around as guards, because that's what the guards do a lot of the time on offense. They're going to be pulling out and around. And if those stats are good, they're going to get out to the position that they need to be. Now, like I said, if their run block stats aren't the best, they're not going to hold the block forever, but they're at least going to be in position to be where they need to be. And so you can work with that, but you can't work with a slow guard that's not getting out and getting on the man in the first place. And so that's something that a lot of people overlook. And that is what is most important at the guard positions. Look for 85 or better strength, and look for good, agile players that can move around. Now, as far as the offensive tackles, pretty much this year they're both, mostly the same. You're going to want guys that are pass blockers, because you're going to struggle to get to protect the pressure off the edge. So you're going to want to focus on guys that have a base strength of at least 82. Don't sign anybody with strength lower than 82. It's just simply not going to work. I'm looking for guys across my offensive line of at least 85 strength or better. And Russell Okung is a perfect example of what works for me at left tackle. He's going to get beat from time to time, but he's good enough to stave off getting sacked every single play. So he's got 88 strength. He can compete with any defensive lineman that comes up against him in terms of strength. And then his better stats are his pass blocking stats. He's got 82 pass blocking, and that's going to be good enough some, if not most of the time, to prevent a straight-up rush from getting to me. And same with Jeremy Parnell. Jeremy Parnell is a guy that has not very great strength, but his better stats are in the pass-blocking department, and that's because in this game, you're going to get a lot of pressure off the edge, and in order to be effective against it, you've got to stop it. And so you're looking for like 80 or better pass-blocking stats on your tackles. And that's basically it. That's what depends, that's what makes up whether these offensive linemen are going to be effective for you or not. You guys can go back and look at all my Chargers games in the series. I do just fine with all of these guys, and none of them are that great. So it just goes to show you that you don't need high overall players in order to actually be effective at any specific position in Madden. Now, if you guys want a further breakdown, let me know down in the comment section. I have minimal time today, so I'm just trying to get this out to you, the very most important information. So if this does help you guys out, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.